The Board of Education meeting is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Secretary Ristich, can you please take roll call?
All members are present.
There he is.
All right, we are going to move over to the approval of the agenda. Unless there are objections, the agenda will be approved as printed. Any objections? All right. We are now going to move on to a very important and special recognition of achievement. I don't know, would you like to stand up, Nick, and maybe move over to the podium? And remember, Secretary Ristich is going to meet you over there while I read. I'll wait till you get there. All right, we will now move to the recognition of achievement, and I would like to invite Nick to join, which they have, Member Ristich at the podium. This evening, the Board of Education is proud to introduce and recognize Waterford Kettering Senior Nicholas McKinnon for his Eagle Scout contribution to the Waterford Initiative for Robotics Education and Development Program. Nick is a senior member of the Waterford High School Robotics Team 3098. Prior to joining the high school team, he was part of Wired from the very beginning. For his Eagle Scout project, Nick created a plan to build field tables for our Wired program to be utilized throughout the season with their build space at Crary. He submitted his design and proposal for review, determined a budget, secured funding, and recruited volunteers to help with the build. The new tables turned out amazing and will be utilized by the robotics team members for years to come. On behalf of this board, Superintendent Martin, and the entire Waterford School District community, we thank you for your contributions to the students of Waterford School District. And I have to say, on a personal note, I've known Nick for many, many years and his family, and I can attest to what an amazing, yes, I would never, he was making sure, Dave, that I also acknowledged you. I've known Nick for many years. My son went through the Wired program and was also a member of Team 3098 with him for 4 years. And this is an amazing, amazing example of what great kids we have in this district. So it's really cool to be able to honor someone that you've watched grow into such an amazing person. Member Torres?
I feel the same way. I've seen you grow up since you're a little kid, your parents, and your dad being involved, and seeing you guys around the township and on Facebook, and you and your brother. So I was reading the packet. I was just so pleasantly surprised to see you on here getting this award. I think that, you're the embodiment of the pride of Waterford, of doing these things of service. And, I know this is not a easy achievement to do. So, and the involvement of your father and your brother and your parents and your mom. Yeah. She boasts about you on Facebook all the time. So it's a great thing because everybody gets to see the wonderful work you're doing. So congratulations.
Yes. Member Ristich, did you?
Is that little brother? Will you be up here soon enough too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Let's go.
All right, well, congratulations again, Nick. And if you haven't seen the tables, check out the Facebook posts. They are amazing and definitely is something that I know our Wired program will use and utilize and appreciate for many, many years. All right, so now we are going to move on to taking public comment on action items that will be voted on this evening. I don't believe any of the cards I have up here are specific to, nope, they're not specific to our action item. So we are going to move on from that. All right, we are going to move to the consent agenda. Unless there are objections, the consent agenda will be approved as presented. Are there any objections? All right. And now we've moved on to our information items where we are going to welcome the Waterford Youth Assistants. We are going to welcome them to share information about their programs and service that they provide to Waterford students and families.
Good evening, everyone. My voice may carry, so I'll leave the microphone to Celine. I'm Megan McCoy. I am the volunteer chair of the Board of Directors for the Waterford Youth Assistance Office. And with me, Barron. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Celine Barron. I'm the caseworker at Waterford Youth Assistance. It's nice to see everybody.
Yes. So we have some familiar faces and friends and some new friends here tonight, and we just want to say welcome and thank you for allowing us to join you. We have just a few slides that we'll be sharing to update you on what we've been up to over the last year and talk about the programs and services that we do offer to our students and families here in Waterford. So again, thank you for allowing us this spot. We really appreciate it.
So just to start with a brief intro, Waterford Youth Assistance is a prevention program that supports kids and families who may be struggling with obstacles like school issues, mental health concerns, family conflict, or behavioral offenses. We have a tri-sponsorship with Oakland County Circuit Court Family Division, Waterford School District, and the municipalities in Waterford, with funding from the County Board of Commissioners. So we work with youth ages 5 to 17. Referrals can come from school, police, the court, or even directly from the parents. The goal is early interventions. We really want to get in and help support before situations get worse or our court involvement is needed. So that's where we, so casework program services, as well as our community programming, which Megan will talk about a little bit after. Family is referred to us. We usually work with them for about 3 to 6 months. We start with an assessment to check for any mental health concerns, to get a picture of the youth's backgrounds and needs. From there, we create a treatment plan with clear goals and objectives. Our casework is hands-on and practical. It might include counseling, skill building, connecting families with resources for housing, food, job, transportation, or mental health treatment, offering parent support and other diversion options like community service or just learning from our actions. That is just a few. I always say casework services. It's not a one-size-fits-all program. Really, my goal is to help meet a family where they are with any obstacle. And usually I can find some type of resource or way to help them navigate it. At the heart of it, our role is to guide families, connect them with support, and help kids build healthier, more positive paths forward. So now I'd like to share statistics, trends, and outcomes from our past program year to the present. Starting June 2024 to about currently, I would say, we've had 166 new referrals. More than half were for school truancy, so specifically 70 new cases. In addition to educational neglect. Educational neglect has to do with the younger kiddos, so ages 10 and under, and parents not following through on educational responsibilities. Other referrals that we would get would be school incorrigibility for general behavior. There was about 6 referrals, and then substance use and vaping specifically were 11. We also got 5 referrals for reinstatement related cases. Other referrals we will get is specifically for prevention, where we are focusing more on helping with family conflict, mental health concerns, life changes. And then the next ones are related to the police or court diversion, so assault and battery, home incorrigibility, retail fraud, domestic violence, and then other court prosecutor, police diversions, among others. So since June 2024, we will receive anywhere from 4 to 18 referrals, new referrals on average a month. Usually on average, it'll be closer to 10, 11. In June 2024, from September 2025, there was 151 closures. 17% of those families' children completed their goals completely. 43% made progress on their goals, And then the rest did not respond, declined, moved, received other services, or their case went formal. So overall, we have a 60% successful closure rate, which is really great. And then talking about the trends that I noticed in the last year. So middle school and high school age students are getting referred the most often to our program, most notably 14-year-olds. Some of the areas that I noticed were higher needs and support, specifically, were parent support, connecting them to resources, emergency and needs assistance, creating behavior contracts, discussing parenting strategies, ideas, referring to parenting classes like Parent Project, if anyone's familiar. We would have a decent amount of diversion cases where we would be completing accountability assignments. One of them is community service, so I'll assign a child anywhere from 15 to 30 hours for them to give back to the community. I noticed a lot of transportation obstacles with families having a hard time affording, their transportation, getting their families to and from places, even my appointments. I noticed a lot of challenges with parent work schedule, needing a lot of financial resources. There's always a need for more coping skill education. A consistent trend is substance use, so most notably vaping and nicotine and marijuana, and helping refer children to drug treatment, drug testing, and therapy referrals. Another big problem we noticed is inappropriate phone use, just boundaries, social media related challenges in general. Something I was able to help a lot of families this year was advocating for them when it came to schools, which oftentimes led to IEP evaluations or 504 accommodations. So that's the trends as far as casework services go. The slide that you'll see right here is, so you'll see 314 casework families in general were helped. So referrals I spoke to were 166, but the other, I'm not going to do the math. In consultations that families will call into the office to ask questions, may just have a quick referral or other connections in the community. So I'm going to pass it to Megan to tell us about our program highlights.
Thank you, Celine. So in the Youth Assistance Office, we do have kind of different tiers. We have our casework services, and then we have our community engagement and involvement through CAMIS volunteers. So our whole organization is made up of volunteers, except we have one staff member, our administrative assistant, that keeps the office open and running for everybody. What we've highlighted here are a couple of our programs. Some of you may be familiar with the Bucket of Love program that was started here in Waterford, and I'm happy to say that other districts in Oakland County have now modeled programs like ours, and that's where we find an adult mentor and a child that's been identified in the elementary schools that needed additional support. And not just academic support. This could be to help them build confidence, to work on their communication skills, just to have some adult attention in a positive way, so they commit to go once a week with their mentee for the full school year. And we have 22 Bucket of Love mentees. And I can say that some of our adults are mentoring multiple kiddos. They believe that program, and I believe our highest has currently matched with 5 students. So every day of the week, going to a different school or a different classroom to work with the kiddos one-on-one. So that is a very prideful point of our office and youth assistance, and if anybody is interested in learning more about that, we'd love to have more volunteers or those that are interested in pairing up with an elementary. We also help parents and our youth through scholarships. So if you do have a kiddo that's looking to do a skill building activity through Parks and Rec or another organization for sports, we can offer scholarships to help meet those funds. We could also do camp scholarships for overnight or summer camps. So if you have anybody that may be interested, send them our way. We do have funds and not enough requests. So we also help with our holiday assistance, which is coming up. We'll be looking for families that may be in need of some supplemental support for the holidays. And we're also looking for those that wish to sponsor and help our program, help with the need for the holidays. Youth Recognition Night, I can see some familiar faces here that have participated over the years. This is our really big, really great feel-good event where we get to honor all of our students who have been nominated by parents, by community members, by teachers. We want to celebrate more. So if you know a kiddo in our district, any that is going above and beyond or supporting the community, supporting family, or has developed something wonderful in the community, let us know because we want to honor them. So keep an eye out. That'll be coming in the spring. We did start a new book gifting program, so helping students in the elementary school who may not have a book fair and have access to a new book. We have funds that we started that last school year, and this year I'm happy to say we're going to all 9 elementary schools, and we've raised more funds to provide more opportunities for the kids at each of the schools. And lastly, I want to highlight, and you've attended, so if you want to share anything about our shoplifting prevention program, where we partner with our school resource officer, Officer Archer here in the township, along with a former prevention specialist from Great Lakes Crossing Mall. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a wonderful program. Both of them will go into the 5th grade classrooms, and they have a video that youth assistants taped and kind of walks through pretty much what a retail fraud, stealing situation would be and what to expect if you were to be in trouble. And they talk about, the importance of, not doing that. And it's a really powerful experience. The kids actually are very receptive. They have lots of questions. And Officer Archer has been really working on expanding from that topic and even talking to the 5th graders about what to expect next year in middle school, like vaping, social media, school threats, fighting. So
Making good choices.
making good choices. So it's great.
All right. Really quickly, that's a photo of last year's Youth Recognition Night. We were able to honor almost 70 students last year. We want to increase that number. So please send us the names of the kiddos that you would like us to recognize. And we just want to say thank you again for allowing us the opportunity to be here. We have a little photo there of our Bucket of Love events. And of course, the district offered us in kind to use the auditorium for our events, and we thank you so much for that. And then just a reminder, we do have scholarships available, so please call the office, email us, or stop by. We're currently upstairs at the CAI building, right on Airport Road, Williams Lake Road. Volunteers are also needed and welcomed, so if you know anyone that's interested in getting involved, maybe not Bucket of Love, but maybe you're interested in another committee or supporting us, please let us know. And lastly, of course, we're looking for sponsors and even families to be identified who might need help this holiday season. That's it from us, but we're so eager to share all the good news.
Member Torres, do you have a comment or questions?
Yes, my wife was texting me trying to find the link, so I was like telling her to go to the webpage, so I was texting her, because I know she wanted to see you guys tonight. One thing I enjoy is you guys are embedded in the community, right? You guys are here in the township, building, in all the school districts all across, and I know you get a large amount of referrals from the school district, and the work that you do with the kids, and really, helping them get on a corrective path. I work in criminal justice, I worked in juvenile justice for many years as well, and my goal was always that, I didn't want to, in juvenile justice, I didn't want to see the kids go into the adult system. In the adult system now, I don't want to see them go into prison, right? I want to keep them out of jail and I want to keep them out of prison. But you guys get it before even that, before when they're starting to head in a bad direction, that you can correct them before they even get in the juvenile justice system, because we do not want to introduce them to that, because statistically we see that those levels of what we call recidivism and crime and criminal activity go up. Question about the Mentors Plus program. Do you still have that?
It's been on pause since COVID, and we're working on expanding employment at central office because it's a lot for one person to take on because that program would be all across Oakland County. So it's still something that is unfortunately put to the side, but we would love to have come back.
Pause, but not ended. Perfect, thank you.
All right, any of my other colleagues? Well, I want to thank both you, Megan and Celine, for bringing this information to us. And, did you have, I thought, sorry. Thank you. The work that you do is amazing, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it, and we know what advocates you are for the kids in our district. And I also want to thank Member Sonnekrant, because she is our representative on your board as well, so.
Board president
Oh,
of YA years ago.
yes, that's right. She was the former president of YA years ago, so
And I was a mentor. That's how I started. Before I had kids, I mentored.
that's
And I love the
amazing.
program. It's amazing.
It is a great program, and we are incredibly, incredibly grateful to have you in our community, so thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so unfortunately, we have to backtrack a little bit. Nick, we forgot to take a picture with you. So you could kindly, again, work your way over to the podium with Member Ristich
Superintendent Martin.
or Superintendent Martin. Ooh. Do you have your certificate? Or you can do it here if you prefer, would you? Okay, or right. Well,
Yeah, we can stand up, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
I know, then you're good, you're good. But yes, I apologize for the backtrack, everybody, but this was too important to not do.
Come in the front.
Okay, come down. Yeah, let's do it.
We're good. Can you see us all? I can.
And thank you, everybody, for letting us backtrack. All right, we are now going to move on to our Teachers in Training, CTE, with Assistant Superintendent Wolf, who I see is already prepared and at his seat.
All right.
We're going to pass it over to you.
Yeah, good evening, trustees. We are very, very excited for the chance to highlight our early childhood education and leadership course and program at Kettering High School, AKA Teachers in Training. And the two folks who are going to walk you through and highlight our students, first would be Lauren Potterfield. She is a family and consumer science teacher at Waterford Kettering. She's been in the district for 7 years and does a wonderful job with our students. And next to her is Tony Miller. Tony is our CFE, which is Career Focused Ed, and our Career Tech Ed Coordinator for the district. He has been here, a little fun fact, since third grade, I believe, in Waterford. Employed 20 years in the district. Besides our CTE coordinator, he also teaches within the CTE department. This year he has marketing and runs a school store at Kettering, but I think this fella has about half a dozen certifications and has taught just about everything. So he's your stereotypical, goes way above and beyond kind of guy, and we're lucky to have him and Lauren, so I'll pass it over.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight. I was here a little while ago, a few months ago, it feels like, and talked a little bit about CTE for a while, but today we're going to have our 8 CTE programs that we have here in Waterford. So CTE Career and Tech Ed is for their college. We have 8 state-approved CTE programs at the high schools, and then we have 3 awesome feeder programs in the middle school to get those kids ready for those high school CTE programs. CTE program is Education General. So Lauren's going to tell you all about Education General, but I can tell you that it's an awesome program that our kids to super high program for and just seeing the kids in this program is awesome. And Lauren's going to probably talk for a couple hours here if you let her. See how that goes. Take it away, Lauren.
As Tony said, we have a program. It runs out of Kettering in our district, and we call it Early Childhood Education and Leadership, but the state calls it Education General. It is the same program. This is, I think, the 5th year that we have run this version of the program at Kettering. We take any interested 10th through 12th grade students. We have a really diverse group. So, and I am looking for that because we are looking for educators that can connect with the largest number of students. These kids, though, they don't have to be, high grade point average, but they are responsible. They are very committed. They are 100% really great kids. They are with me every day for 2 hours throughout the year. Right now, we're still in our days, but eventually we will start going to our sites. They can take this class for repeated credit. And many of them do, as they come back to me, they will go deeper and deeper into the curriculum of whatever little pathway they are taking. These are the curricula we follow. It's a lot. So they are working hard to meet all of these standards with all of these. It is also a work-based learning program. So our kids get hands-on real-life learning experience. These are our 2 sites. Most of our kids are at Stepanski, and Miss Andrea Bratton is here tonight. Great support of this program. These kids are working on a Child Development Associate certification, which is an industry-based, nationally recognized certification. If they earn that, they can take that and work as a preschool teacher anywhere in the country. It's a first step towards that. And I also have Mr. Nick Gregory here tonight. He is principal at Knudsen. The kids that are working there, actually, this was new last year. So we piloted this last year. We'll have some more kids this year. They are working on something called a MyYDA, which lets them run after-school programs if they earn that certification or certificate. So I could not do this without their support. They're like an intrinsic part of this program, and we are so grateful to them. I'm also going to thank my own principal, administration, staff, and faculty, because they also program. We need everybody to make this a go. Our students, like I said, they're training right now. They get trainings in the things that our district teachers are trained in before they are allowed to set foot on site. We do CPR, they get background tested, they get TB tested, they do a lot of training, again, that our teachers are doing. Bloodborne pathogens, health and safety, mandated reporter. So they have a lot of responsibility. Make sure they're ready for it. In the classroom, we are also giving them professionalism skills that they can take anywhere, even if teaching is not the route they go, but professionalism, conflict resolution, which actually they'll use that on their own friends. It's really fun to watch. Active supervision, confidentiality. They are really learning a lot of heavy stuff in there. The objective of the class is to prepare future educators. We teach them practice. These are some more things we do in the classroom. They will learn areas of development, the brain and how it works, how to write lesson plans, how to conduct lessons, how to assess students at their sites. They're all real nervous about a great job, so it's really fun to watch. We also have fun. We make a lot. This week we're doing sensory compounds, and today was Play-Doh Day. They wait a long time for that. Art projects, we go outside, and what's really cool about the fun part is the kids will look at the learning objectives that we have, and they will come up with fun lessons. So a lot of initiative taking there. I love seeing it. A personal goal I have for these kids is to make sure that they have a after high school. I take them to colleges. We visit early childhood education programs. OCC, we've been to Wayne State. This year, we're looking at OU, they have a new program there. And if they don't get into education, it is still an awesome experience for them, because for many of them, they have never been on a college campus. Many kids don't think that college is for them until they come and they see and they realize, yeah, it is for me. I take them to professional conferences. We've been to Muncie, we've been to Educators Rising. We're going to attend that one again this year. That one's at Wayne State. This year they're going to compete though, so they're pretty excited about that. Huge impact in a lot of areas. The state really supports this program because of the high demand for teachers. We do actually earn money for 1 out of 10 in Oakland County, making 1,800. This is what we earned last year for the district to spend this. Part of that, for the community, I know that our kids are a big value added at their sites. This is a feedback I get from teachers, because I worry, like, their mentors do mentor them, but they are also teaching their classrooms. So our kids need to come and add and make it easier for them and not draw them away from what they're doing. And they are doing that. The parents are seeing them in their uniforms and wanting to know who these kids are that, their kids are talking about. They're very visible. Even just, they'll see their kids at a restaurant or something. They also started telling me this year that, like, I have a lot of kids that work after school in childcare. And one told me this year, she says, Mrs. Potterfield, everywhere I go, all the workers in the childcare are from your class. They're like, we're taking over. I said, yeah, that's what we need to be doing. So they're having that positive impact as well. Businesses, because they know they are well-trained and they can, and they're just, so it helps there. In golf, we have a great, kids always want to know, what are these sweatshirts? Who's walking around? But they are actual role models and leaders in our school. There was a electives fair one year, a couple of, and they volunteered just to do it. I didn't ask them to do it. They said, we want to come and represent. So they were seeing parents and incoming students and promoting them that way. I love that this is an option for kids who don't necessarily have, maybe they are not the high achievers. Maybe they are not the sports. Maybe they are not the artists. I mean, some of them are those things too. But it's another place for them to find somewhere to belong, really blossom, and become all that. They become leaders. They take these skills with them. They are getting a lot of work skills that they are taking with them. I mean, I've had kids go into all kind of careers and just do very well because they are prepared to be in the workforce. I like that gets them to school because they don't want to miss time with their kids. So I'll have them come to school just for my class. But I'm glad that they're there, because once they're there, you can get them to stay, right? They are creating plans for their future. Had no idea what they were going to left our building. Many of them are going to college, like I said. These are just some of last year's awards. We did have one outstanding youth mission award winner right there. Also to win summer scholarships to Next Gen, which is a teacher training at Wayne State. They have automatic admission into Wayne State. They get money mentoring. So that is fabulous. And I actually won the Michigan Golden Apple Scholarship. So she knows she has it when she's done with college. She gets a lot of training. They help perfectly. So really, really proud of those. And I just had to add also that I actually had one save somebody's life because of the first aid training and the CPR training that he had done in our class. class years ago. So lots of awesome accomplishments. What I'm looking at for the future is to maintain that diversity of students. That every year there'll be several grads going into education, but I didn't see them in my program. Because our kids can earn credit. The articulation agreement, it's not a university here. We want to grade our certification earners, get some more of those. And like I said, we're going to compete at Ed Rising this year too. So very, very excited about that. And I had to throw this in at the end because these are some of the comments that students gave me last year about the program. So I'm always surprised to see what they think, because I would think different things, but I love it. So how to push during hard, what I want to do with my life. Oh, this is probably my favorite. How important professionalism is. So lots of good learning there. And that is our presentation for today. Thank you guys for having us. It really means a lot that we could be here and share this with you, because we are super proud of what our kids are doing. And I'm so glad that, we could tell you about it. Thank you.
Well, we always appreciate having you and having Tony here to present these things to us. I know I have a few questions. I'm sure my colleagues will as well. I guess my first question is, are we going to be expanding this program to Waterford Mott? You said it's been at Kettering for 5 years, but it has not been offered at Waterford Mott, and I just don't want that to be a missed opportunity for students that are over there as well.
Now, last year I did have a Mott student
Okay.
who was busing over. I know that next year I have one that's interested, so we've been doing that. And yes, I do want to expand that. And
Okay.
we have talked about potentially doing like another leg of it. It's been 5 years, but it's still kind of a growing phase, so that is on the drawing board.
Yep.
Okay.
And I do think placement is the problem, because I think this program would be huge, but I don't think Stepanski can take 70 of our kids, right? So luckily Nick has let some of the kids come into Knutson, and we're hoping that maybe someday that'll be then Grayson and then Beaumont, and then,
Okay.
if things are working out well, the more opportunities we can place kids, then obviously the bigger the program can become.
Okay, because I definitely would love to see it grow, because as we all know, we are in a shortage, and I'm sure Andrea and Nick could attest to, if we can grow our own. And that leads into my next question. If these students are going through this here and earning certification, given our Grow Your Own program, would they then be eligible to apply for the Grow Your Own program if they were to be hired in our district through one of our buildings? Because what another great way to explain to them that there's other opportunities that could help pay for their secondary education for them to be able to get their certifications.
Yeah, I mean, I love the potential for that. That might be a Steve question, but I don't know the answer.
Are you rolling away, Steve?
I'm opening up my space and also inviting Susan File into the conversation. I believe they would have to meet some requirements post-high school.
Okay.
Before that would be a consideration, but they would be in our pipeline for sure, so to speak.
Okay.
There's also a program called Teach, which they could use to help finance their education.
All right. Member Donahue?
I just wanted to say it's my son was a part of the program. I'm not sure if it was the inception, like year one of this, or the precursor to it, and absolutely loved it. He had the chance to work at Stepanski, and stories of it, and it was great to see that side of him and talking about it. As a matter of fact, this summer, before he was going back to college, he found the shirt that he would wear from it. He's a lot more muscular now. He doesn't fit into it, but it was interesting. It was just like, all right, well, we'll donate the shirt. And he was like, no. And he still has that shirt sitting in his, because and so it was one of those things that as a father and as his mom would say, it was very nice to see that he's going to end up being a good dad. And there was no doubt it was part of the experiences that he had. So thank you very much.
I think I actually remember your son. About 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Tall, skinny redhead. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a previous incarnation.
Yeah.
But I love that you said about the parenting, because if kids are interested, I want them because somewhere they're going to apply this.
100%. Member Sonnecker?
Did this replace the Careers with Children class?
Yeah.
Both of my kids took that class.
Yep.
One of my sons became a teacher, and I honestly wish, he went to Saginaw Valley, and he teaches at Avondale now. He teaches 5th grade. And I wish he'd had something like this. It probably would have cut the student loan debt in half. And the Careers with Children is actually what got him to become a teacher. So kudos to that program.
Yeah, we ran that under Family and Consumer Science for years, as long as I've been around. That was part of the Family Consumer Science pathway, but Michigan recognized education as a high-demand pathway that needed to be addressed. So we were able to move this program into its own education pathway, which then brought in additional funding for CTE. So it was kind of running under Family Consumer Science, and then we rebuilt it under the education pathway that allows us to bring in some funding from the state to support it.
Kudos, thank you.
Member Istich?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you two for coming and bringing this to us, and to Ms. Bratton and Mr. Gregory for helping shape this program too. I mean, I think all of us up here, when we think about the best version of education, this is probably a good example of that, right? Where we have students who are coming away with some concrete skills, things they can point to say, I learned this. Moments to reflect. I mean, I just love this. Nothing is possible. Some things are just hard. I mean, what a great reminder. So moments of reflection, the gift of responsibility. I mean, that's a place where you get to try out those things you've learned and practice and reflect and revise. There are rewards, and then opportunity is the most important part, and there seems to be no shortage of those. So thank you to both of you for your work on this, bringing this to us and to our partners as well. This is really incredible. So thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay, unfortunately, this isn't a time for audience questions, but I'm sure that if you would like to reach out to Mr. Miller, or also, they would be more than happy to answer those questions, or send them to Superintendent Martin as well. All right, thank you both. You are rock stars. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. All right, we are going to move on now to our external audit report with Assistant Superintendent Hildebrandt.
Good evening, trustees and audience. With us tonight is Jennifer Watkins from Yonyo to present the audit reports summary to everyone.
They showed me how to do it. Okay. Good evening, everybody. We have a short presentation, kind of a summary of the overall audit and how things went. Overall, just a good, clean report for you guys tonight. I will start with, you guys have paper copies of the audit with you. You're probably used to getting hardbound copies, but this year we are still waiting for the compliance supplement from the federal government. That kind of gives us the rules over your single audit, which is your federal dollars, and we've been holding off, wishing that we'd get it. We can't date that single audit technically until we receive it. But MDE came out with some guidance 2 weeks ago, and our firm has decided to issue the financial statements alone on the 20th, kind of, we've picked a date. And so that will be submitted timely. They have to be to the state by typically November 1st, this year, November 3rd. And then the state has allowed us 30 days once we get that compliance supplement to follow up and submit your single audit. So that's kind of the plan right now, but all of your items will be submitted timely, and they're done, and there'll be no changes to them besides dating them. So we will get started. Just an audit overview, kind of from top to bottom, overall what the audit is. In general, we're really hired to give you an independent opinion. The whole point of the audit is to give you that opinion, give you that assurance on your financial statements, and be able to state, are they free from material misstatement? Also, you have to follow the government auditing standards, other compliance requirements with Michigan Department of Education, with US Ed, all of those things, and we're checking those as we go through your audit. In general, your audit opinion, you did receive an unmodified opinion, which is what you want. That's considered a clean opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that we can give. And in general, it means that we've done enough procedures to be able to state that your financial statements are free from material misstatement. The next few slides goes right into snippets of your audit. So the first is your balance sheet, and this is your governmental fund statement. So your general fund, that we have two major funds this year, both 2020 capital projects funds, but series 2 and 3. And then all other funds are together in that non-major governmental fund column. So things like food service, student activities, debt funds are all combined in that column. Overall, I always mention this is a snippet of time for the balance sheet, so it's as of June 30th. And for schools, we accrue things back, things like July and August state aid and payroll and benefits. So assets for the end of the June 30th fiscal year of 2025, you had $103 million. And note that the due from other governmental units, kind of midway through your assets, those are that July and August state aid, and then any outstanding receivables for grants that you're waiting for. Just something a little different for those accrued statements. Under liabilities, your total liabilities for the district is at $24.3 million. And again, things accrued back to June 30th. I mentioned summer and pay, including benefits, but also any AP, like accounts payable for projects that are going on, and the work was done prior to June 30th. The next page is including your deferred inflows and also your fund balance. Total deferred inflows were $4 million. This was a new concept a few years ago. It came up, a new accounting standard, but what it is basically unavailable revenue. So the first is grants that were not received within 60 days. That's a special rule for governments. And then the leases, there's an offsetting asset for that exact amount. So that $3.3 million. Overall fund balance for the district in total is $74.7 million. 16.9 of that makes up the general fund. And I like to mention as well that every other fund besides general is either assigned or restricted for a specific purpose. So capital projects, those are restricted. They have to be spent for that specific purpose. Food service, same thing, all of the other funds. The one amount in your general fund balance in that column to make up that 16.9 million, there's 14.7 that's unassigned. 1.5 that is assigned, that's your amount that you've budgeted in your original budget, excess expenditures of revenue, and then non-spendable, which is things like inventory or prepaids. Revenues and expenses for those same funds, total revenues for all funds, $224 million, expenditures $204 million. Net increase in total for all funds of $19.8 million, but that does include the new bond for the Series 3, that income coming in. And we'll have some specific to general fund right here. So this slide represents original budget, final budget, and actual, and this is just for general fund. You can see overall, especially for revenue, you were spot on the budget. You were less than 1% of a variance there, and for expenditures, less than a 3% variance. Overall, the final budget was a decrease of 2.7 million, but you ended an increase of about 200. These charts are for general fund only, so just kind of to go over the same items, so total revenue, but looking at it a little bit differently, broke out by the type of revenue they are. I point out here, which you guys are all aware, that with local and state together, because local is your property taxes, which is offsetting that foundation allowance amount from the state, is 87% of your overall kind of bucket of money that you have for the general that you're relying on the state. For expenditures, overall here, 81% of course is your salaries and related benefits, which is typical obviously for a school district. And that's, your MIPSers, your health, and all of those benefits, FICA. Then we have a couple slides to show the past 5 years, some history. First is the per pupil analysis of revenues and expenditures from 2021 to 2025. And you can see the red line there is your revenues, and the blue line is your expenditure. This year, you almost broke even with a little small increase for 2025. The next slide is an enrollment trend analysis for the same year. So you have 2021 to 2025, ending in 2025 at that 6,776 pupils. The next slide, I know boards use this percent for many things. So this is your percent of general fund balance as a percent of current operating expenditures. So same years, fiscal year 21 to 2025. The red portion is any assigned or other maybe unspendable portion of the general fund balance. And then the blue is all the unassigned portion. I will note that the items at the top are a year off because we don't get that state information. It's always delayed a year. So the current information we have is for last year. But last year you were just under 13%, which we rounded up to 13, and this year you're just over 13% at that 13.31%. Now the overall report card and how everything went. We had just an overall great audit this year. Everything went really well. We had no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no material non-compliance. So overall, no findings on the financial statements. Very good and clean audit. The next few pages focus on the single audit piece of it. We did audit 2 programs this year, both the Child Nutrition Cluster and ESSER, which is ended now, so we won't be auditing that in the future. We also had no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no material non-compliance with any of the federal awards. And those get audited quite a bit. I always say, as much as we audit everything else, your federal dollars are audited, extra testing, extra compliance. There's a lot of extra work that goes into it on our side, but on your team as well. And we had no issues with any of the federal dollars that were spent. In your audit packet, you also receive a governance letter as well as your financial statements, your single audit, and the governance letter. It has a lot of, accounting lingo in there, but there's always some highlights. We go over any new standards. If there were issues, they would be noted in there. We had no issues. We had no material audit adjustments. So it's overall clean letter. We do note the new standards this year. We had GASB 101. And GASB 102, both governmental accounting standards pronouncements that we had to comply with. Compensated absences was a new way of accruing that number. It did cause a change to the financials for all districts, all school districts, and all governments, really. We had to do a prior period adjustment due to the change in accounting principle, but that is what happens when we have a change in accounting principle. We did that a few years ago, if you remember, when we brought in student activity funds into the regular fund level statements, same thing. Nothing you did wrong, that's just an accounting. We make accounting rules, I think, to make our lives difficult, but your team was great. They handled great and got us the proper calculations and did it very. We really appreciate that because it's something a lot of our districts have struggled with. So all good things, and we had no management comments as well in that letter. On prior year follow-up, there were a finding related to budget overages last year, which was resolved this year. We also had a management recommendation related to budgets overages, and that was also resolved this year. So we checked that when we come out to do the new audit, and everything was fixed, and we had no issues in the current year. And just in summary, I'm going to go over everything I already stated it, but your financial statements, you had a clean opinion. Your general fund balance is sitting at just above about 13%. Your single audit, you have 2 reports in that, both were unmodified opinions. In both areas, single audit and financial statements, you had no findings, and we will be submitting timely to the state. And overall, I'm happy to take any questions, and I like to mention why I'm here. If you have questions that come up after the fact or anytime really during the year, my information is right here. But of course, your team has it as well. But I'm always happy to take questions from the board. Thanks.
All right, colleagues, do we have questions? Member McGregor?
Okay, so no findings is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's great. Good job. One of the questions I had is about financial controls. Is that part of your audit? How deep do you go into that, all of those things?
So we start kind of at that point. We look at the kind of beginning to the end, how money is coming into the district, how it's leaving the district, who's reviewing things, like something like a bank rec, we're checking to make sure it's being done timely, being reviewed properly. So kind of all of that process we go through at the beginning. We come out for a few days of preliminary work before field work where we're looking at those items. And those would come up, well, if they were egregious, they would be a finding or they would be a management comment if we found like a hole or a recommendation to improve on. But your team did really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions? Member Donahue?
It's not a question. I just wanted to thank you for your work, but also for Karen and Amy in your department. Great job. Keep it up. It's nice to see the trend that we have.
Member Torres?
Just had a question. You had mentioned what was the percentage of state funds that we received, you said?
I believe.
I thought you said 87.
I was 87.
How does that break down?
So it's the local portion.
Oh, we're taking that, okay.
Because that's, unless, there might be a little tiny bit of like contributions, but the majority of that is your property tax revenue and then your other
Okay, I
state
got
sources.
you. Okay,
Yep.
perfect, thank you.
And actually, I have a question just to clarify that. The local is our non-homestead, correct? The local revenue, and then the state is actually the property taxes on our home, the one that distributes that funding to us, correct?
So you get a portion of your foundation allowance as actual property tax revenue, which would be in that local bucket, and then the rest of it, the rest of the foundation allowance comes from the state sources. But that state sources also includes restricted items, like at-risk or other.
The categoricals and everything else. I just wanted to make sure that for everyone that's listening, that they understood the 2 different buckets that create that 87%. And I have to say, too, I want to echo my colleagues' comments to our team. It is amazing to see that revenue and expenditure almost identical. So to know that what is coming in, we are putting right back out to where it should be going. So we do appreciate the hard work, and we appreciate you as well for the audit. A nice job on having a great audit. All right, are there any other comments or questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we are going to move along to our superintendent recommendation to new business. And it's Superintendent Recommendations, Recommendation 13-25-26, relative to special education substitute contracted services. Yeah, yes, I was.
Sure who you were looking.
No, I was like,
Okay, all right.
sorry, Mike was in the way.
Superintendent's Recommendation 13-25-26, contracted substitute special education services. It is recommended that the board approve the award for RFP WSD 26 substitute-based special education services to all fully responsive vendors listed in the bid tabulation. Contracts will be executed in order of pricing and specialty as needed to meet the district's operational and student service requirements. Funding source is General Fund, Center Program Fund. I so move.
Support. All right, the motion has been moved and supported. Are there any comments or questions? Member Torres?
So I see that we're selecting all of those that gave an RFP or who actually responded to the proposal, is that correct?
Correct.
So, and it looks like establish a pool of qualified contracted professionals who can be deployed as needed on an as-needed basis. So, and then these positions then, there is no union representation or connection to them, they're just contractual, correct?
This is for the short-term leave. This is not in place of a WEA member. This is when we have a vacancy that we are unable to fill, or we have a WEA valued member that may need a short-term leave of absence, and it allows us the opportunity to meet the needs of the IEP of the students by having all the vendors. It gives us a menu of qualified contractors to go to based on pricing and seeing if they have a qualified candidate that may meet that need, whether it be a 2-week need or perhaps a 12-week Family Medical Leave Act need.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Member McGregor?
So just to follow up to that, so my understanding is, for example, if we had a position that we couldn't fill, that we would still have that posting out there for WEA, and this would be in place of that until we could fill that WEA position.
Correct.
Is that right?
Position with the students that may be impacted.
Right, okay. And then my other part of that question too, with having vacancies, what is the impact on continuity for students?
We wouldn't keep moving them around, so if there's a placement, that person is placed.
Mm-hmm.
And then if another placement opened up, we would once again go to the call list, doing pricing first, and if there's a qualified candidate in the pool that we may take advantage of.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, are there any comments? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All right, motion carries 7-0. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that your hand wasn't up. I'm sorry, that was, so you are a nay?
Yep.
Okay, so sorry, 6-1. And we are going to stay with Treasurer Donahue.
Superintendent's recommendation 14-25-26, resolution to submit replacement operating millage proposal. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the attached resolution to submit replacement operating millage proposal for the May election date, May 5th, 2026. I so move.
Support. All right, the motion has been moved and supported. Are there any comments or questions? And we just want to make sure, we did have a presentation on this at our COW meeting recently. This is for our non-homestead properties. This is not for those of you that live here in the community. This would impact our commercial properties. The 18 mills that were approved when we did this renewal, unfortunately with the Headley Amendment and the rollback, we are not actually getting the full 18 mills that we should be getting, but the state thinks we are. So we are at a loss of $295,000 by not having the full 18 mills. So what this would allow us to do is renew it so that we could, as it continues to roll back, be able to still capture the full 18 mills so that we are able to capture the full per pupil foundation allowance. So this is not impacting residents. This is strictly on the commercial properties here in the community. And this $295,000, if this millage doesn't pass, will double for next year. And that's a loss of money for our district and for our students and for our staff. So I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that this is not on residential properties. It's strictly a commercial. All right. I'm going to move on. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Okay, this time I counted correctly, 7-0. I did not see your hand. It was up last time. All right, we are going to move on. We are moving on now to public comments on non-action items. As you are recognized to speak, please move to the microphone at the podium to address the board and state your full name and address for the record. Please be reminded that comments are limited to 3 minutes in duration. Members of the public are invited to share comments. However, this is not intended to be a time for questions and answers. Oh, sir, I will definitely call when I have the green card. Oh, I wasn't sure if you were making your way over there. So members of the public are invited to share comments. However, this is not intended for a time for questions and answers. Last may speak only once on the same topic and are asked to avoid statements that are personally directed, abusive, or obscene. Sir, do I have your green card?
Oh, I don't have a green.
Okay, if you card, they're up at the podium, and then just, you can bring it over to Megan, and then she can give it to me, and we'll make sure to add you in. We are first going to bring Jamie Brown to the podium.
Okay, I'm going to do a show and tell. So just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so in the beginning of the year, we set up our classrooms with 3 hours. And we are to do inventory, bulletin boards, notes to families, welcome. Slideshows, curriculum night packets, to-do lists for students and parents, set up platforms for Google Classroom, HMH, and math, create computer cards on how to change passwords, and to figure out the old passwords that were used in the prior years. School information, district information, organize numbers on lockers with teachers in the hall, gather math, HMH, note and show books, and count them and get them prepared for the whole year. Gather the first science kit and bring it down to the room. Gather get to know you activities for the first week, plan for the first week, curriculum map for the entire year, prepare, organize folders and notebooks, figure out how kids are supposed to go home the first day, the first week, what a normal week is actually for the students, connect to students and parents' names and name tags, and do all that in 3 hours we get paid for. This is that information. This is planned for a daily elementary teacher. We have to check emails, teacher school email, morning messages, birthdays, Eagle Awards once a week, VIP tables daily, Alexia Awards check-ins, targets for our content areas, attendance, morning meetings, trails, SEL, SIAP, going over the rules for the district and school, reading lessons, lessons for stories, lessons for vocabulary, lessons for word work, lessons for comprehension, lessons for writing, lessons for grammar, figuring out Lexia, figuring out Amira scores, making sure kids are keeping up with those things. We also have to do math lessons, problem-based learning, visual learning, guided independent practice, assessing and differentiating lessons, reteaching, especially for those students on Dreambox that are above grade level. Science, read and prepare hands-on activities, clean up the activities, get kits, put kits away, inventory the kits 4 times a year, put new items that come back from the kits in the kits. Social studies, read and prepare, because we really don't have, we have a brand new social studies, we have no books, we have a whole bunch of websites to go to. So this, is reading.
You have over 30 seconds.
Oh, Ms. Brown, he was just giving you your 30-second.
Okay, very good. This is math. Here, can you grab it? This is science and social studies. This is every single email from the middle of August till now the district expects us to read, comprehend, and understand. This is what we do for planning time, 3 pages here that we're expected to do. This is our letters trading, which is an obscene amount of time on top of all this other time.
You can finish that last little sentence. I know that you kind of stopped midway, so we'll give you a little bit of extent, just to finish your thought really quick, but.
Okay, so in our time to do all of these things outside of our work schedule, we're contracted to be there from 8:35 until 4:05. We are in with the kids teaching them. This is above and beyond what every elementary teacher is expected to do. And we're not being compensated for it. It's an expectation every day.
All right, we are going to allow Ms. Brown to, did you want to grab all of that stuff prior? Okay. All right, we're going to move. Okay, that would not be good. We don't want the binders to get broken. We did have some late people enter our auditorium prior to me being able to state public comment rules, so I'd like to go over those again, just to make sure that those that entered were aware of that. As you're recognized to speak, please move to the microphone at the podium to address the board, full name and address for the record. Please be reminded that comments are limited to 3 minutes in duration, and members of the public are invited to share comments. However, this is not intended to be a time for questions and answers. And lastly, participants may speak only once on the same topic and are asked to avoid statements that are personally directed, abusive, or obscene. I am going to invite Ms. Mary Crate to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Mary Crate. I live at 3655 Mariner, Waterford, Michigan, where I have lived in Waterford for over 50 years now. And I, too, am a product of Waterford Schools, a Waterford Mott graduate, probably before a few school board members were even born. So tonight I'm here beginning my 9th year officially as the Waterford Education Association president. And I'm very proud of the people I work with. And if it's not a surprise to you, we're getting ready for financial negotiations. Thank you, the state of Michigan. I had a very good conversation last week with our new superintendent, talking about some amazing things that are happening and maybe some things that we could change. And one of the things that came to mind was the fact that as I'm going through our numbers, there are currently 92 Waterford WEA members who have more than 25 years with this district. 92. That's just shy of the 20% of my group of people. And I thought, how interesting it would be to say, these are the people that have between 30 and 34 years with the Waterford School District. Tara Frizzle, Craig Schlafman, Julie Rule, Gary Jackman, Sarah Cedarlin Johnson, Jeff Richards, Chris Browie, Merlin Beard, Melissa McGill, Kathleen Kelly, and Tony Giglio. And then I went to, I wonder how many people have more than 35 years. They're trying to catch me, not letting it happen. But I came up with 9 staff members that have 35 years with us. Think about 35 or more. Diane Elton, Catherine Schramm, Jill and teachers. They are kindergarten teachers with more than 35 years with this district. Jill Richards, Katie Mulick, Rachel Bryce, Margie Newberry, Chris Saporin, Lisa Parker, and myself. I think the work that all of these people have done deserves not only financial compensation, but the utmost respect from the community and all of us. And it's a real telling thing. We have lived through every difficult time in this district. Years and years with no steps, years and years with no pay raises, and we didn't leave. So you know how many of us really believe in the Waterford community and the Waterford kids. So I would like to take time to celebrate them. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. All right, we are going to Ms. Mackenzie Ogden.
All right, hello again. As many of the board members know, my name is Mackenzie Ogden. I'm a social studies teacher at Mott High School. This is my 4th time addressing to go above and beyond in their jobs. I've talked about how dedicated class sponsors and other extracurricular sponsors work. Today I would like to get frank about money. No teacher will ever tell you that they became a teacher for the money. And this has never been just a job for me, but the fact is that teaching is the thing that is supposed to pay my bills. And I can tell you as a young single teacher in this district that I live paycheck to paycheck. I've had to have a second job on and off during my time here. I've done extra duties and picked up sponsor roles to help me make ends meet. I've had to ask my parents on more than one occasion for help to get me to the end of the month. I've pushed myself to exhaustion just to survive, and I'm not alone in this. And I know we said that it's across the county that teachers are not getting paid enough, but the fact is that Waterford ranks 23rd out of 28 districts in Oakland County for teacher starting salary. And it's the same for the top step as well. What's interesting, when I was looking at an old contract, the starting salary for a teacher in 2004 in Waterford was about $35,000. Now, we consider the rate of inflation, that would equal to about $61,000 today. The starting salary today in Waterford is $42,300. It's about $20,000 less than what our counterparts were getting 20 years ago. So while our salaries are not kept with inflation, all of our bills and expenses have continued to increase. A young teacher in Waterford cannot even Waterford. That's why I bring this up. It is so demoralizing to put my heart and soul in my profession, to spend countless hours of my free time, to be the best teacher I can be, to give up so much and give so much and not be able to even have a wage. It is so demoralizing to have to call my dad in tears and ask for some money so I can pay my rent. It is so demoralizing to think about, what am I going to do if I can't make more money? Am I going to have to move back in with my parents again at almost 30 years old? That is not doable. It is so awful that we have our teachers who cannot afford to live their life. And I don't feel like we are asking for too much. We are asking for the worth that we have. We've seen here how hard our teachers work every day, how much time they have to give up and not get paid for. All we want is to live comfortably. I am not asking for too much. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We are going to move on to Mr. Joe Humphrey.
I have, a lot of my colleagues have already covered a lot of things that I was going to talk about personally, but I think some things to notice about this district that I've been here 20 years. We've had a lot of great colleagues, and unfortunately, they've had to leave. And the one thing when I talk to other districts with all the stuff I do with the WEA and MEA and things like that, the one thing we hear about is how great of teachers we bring from Waterford that they get. And they are that fortunate to get where they don't even have to be trained by another district because they already have the previous training and the knowledge that we have all given them. So I just, being in negotiations, like Mary said, we just hope for a financial package, that you guys give us the permission for a financial package where we can accept it and have our contract done. That's all we're looking for. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are going to move on now to Mr. Jason Brown.
I lost my notes in the scurry. Yeah, Jason Brown, 1992, Woodridge Court, Highland, Michigan. I am the unofficial teacher assistant for the last 20-plus years to Jamie here. And hearing some of the other comments, I guess one thing that comes to mind is just summarizing, I guess I think of like the compound effect, right, of all these things that when you look at them discreetly, just look like little things. But they're more than little things. So, yeah, it's hard not to get emotional, right? Because I'm her support system. I know a few of these other teachers, totally agree with what they say. We feel it. I feel it, and I'm not even an employee of the district. So, cutting lamination, helping build binders and things, I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have to do that. But I would greatly appreciate the consideration, the demonstration trying to show here that the hard work that these people put in. My wife is the most hardworking person that I know. If, I lead a team of engineers. If I had her work ethic for my engineers, I'd have a superior working engineering team. I have an engineering degree. But nonetheless, yeah, I guess, what was said from the early education thing, I think you mentioned, right? I guess please resonate that when you guys consider the budget and how you compensate these hardworking individuals, these are hard things, and you have to do hard things for them, please. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are going to move on to Joshua Boyd.
Thanks for the financial report. That put her to sleep. In May of 2025, the Michigan Board of Education passed a resolution to limit class size, especially K through third grade, to 20 students or less. The resolution says, every available study shows smaller class sizes leads to better outcomes for children. My daughter goes to Cooley Elementary here in Waterford. Her class size for kindergarten is 28 students, one teacher. I couldn't handle 28 kids on my own. I could probably keep them from killing each other, but I couldn't give them actual learning when you're focused on 28 individual students that all require different things. My daughter and the other children deserve to have a class sized that leads to better outcome. Mrs. Johnson is doing an incredible job with her class. I'm very impressed with the order and effort she puts to create an engaging time for her class. But we need to do better for the children and for our teachers. It's no wonder that our teacher burnout. I emailed our principal, Mrs. Cummings. She said, I, along with the district leadership, are aware of the large number of students in kindergarten and am currently seeking to hire a para-assistant who would assist both kindergarten classrooms and our 2 second grade classrooms. I feel we need to do more than a para-assistant, especially a para-assistant divided between 4 classrooms. My daughter and the other children deserve to have a class sized that leads to better outcomes. When we walked through Cooley in the spring, they had 3 kindergarten classrooms. Now they are utilizing 2 of them with oversized classes. I checked the surrounding districts. They do not have as many children in their classrooms. My daughter, and I want her to have a great school experience. This is very important to my wife and I. If the class size is a funding issue, I think it's worth trying a millage or some other funding to provide that for the students. We're a blue-collar area. There's people that need extra help with their kids. There's a lot of single parents that are doing the best they can, and those kids deserve to have more one-on-one time with their kids, with the teacher. If you want, I've got this is the Michigan State Board of Education legislator, and this is talking about it, but the budget's not there till it looks like 2030, which is too late for my daughter.
All right, thank you. All right, we are now going to move on to Mr. Pete Ogg.
Hi, I'm Pete Ogg. I live at 1315 Choctaw in Waterford. And I wanted to come here to thank you guys. I work with Sierra Club. And recently you leased out some property to Oakland County Parks. And we want to thank you publicly for that. That's a real big plus to save green space. Also, all I'm noticing tonight, all the education that really goes on here, thank you for all your efforts on that. It's amazing to hear these different groups. An update on the OCC property. The community is developing a plan to save some of the property, the rest of the northern property, as an education center. So OCC would either have a mini campus there, or Oakland County Parks would run something out of there. We're just now starting to put it together to figure out what we can bring. So if you guys got any help for us, we're volunteers, we're people who don't do it, and we need all the help we can to show Oakland Community College's Board of Trustees that there's other options. And what the other option is, developers building property out there. So we want to get ahead of that and have something to present when other people present the building property. I'll email you with a little brief update, so if you have any questions or comments, you can get back to it. The main focus of this is to have a feeder system, to have outdoor education right there, hopefully, you know, with school districts and doing these different programs we had tonight. To save that for our use, the community use is what we want. We're at a huge disadvantage because the developers have money and they can throw it into the presentations and kind of overwhelm the community. So we have that frustration too. November 20th is going to be a public forum. OCC is having it. I believe it is at the Highland Lakes campus. Just heads up. Okay, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Greg, is it Bayer? I didn't want to pronounce your last name incorrectly. Is it Barr?
Greg Bauer.
Bauer, thank you.
Yeah, 6950 Hatchery Road. I am a trustee for Conservation Waterford Lands, better known as COWL, and I'm here to thank the board. As the previous gentleman said, you've worked with Oakland County to secure those lands for the use of the public, and I think it's a great job. It's a win for the school district, and it's a win for the town, and it's a win for the county. So thank you again for all that you do. And as he said, we have buildings over there. There's possibility they might tear them down. They are outstanding classrooms in those buildings that could be utilized. And if you work with the township, I'm hoping that you can develop programs that you could take over to the OCC buildings that will be vacant and fill them up with whatever skilled trades, different things that the students expand their opportunities. So thank you for your time, and I apologize, it's my first school board meeting, so.
Oh, that is totally okay.
So I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you. All right, and our last green card is Miss Robin McGregor.
Good evening, Rob McGregor, 2629 Caterham. I'm here to speak about the Taste of Waterford. I am the chairperson for Fueling Kids Futures, and this school district has over 300 kids that we feed every week. With that, it takes $40,000 to feed them. Nothing comes from the school district other than the fact that you let us use 2 rooms to store. And we're very grateful for that. And we have containers that we have, and it's like a well-oiled machine. And the students that we help, I don't get to see their faces, but I do get to see the teachers' faces and how they appreciate a child being able to eat on the weekend and make a difference. We met with the superintendent. He was very grateful to us. He also helped us realize that empathy can be viewed in different ways. So when we are asking parents if they need help, it's on them to ask for it so that we're not pushing our values. It's a really good balance to help a child and their families when we do it. So that's why we're doing the Taste of Waterford. It's November 10th at the, thank God for the Oakland County Parks. They let us use the event center for free. And we're going to do the way Heather Halls did back in the day when we were all together. It's going to be 19 restaurants from this community. We only have one chain restaurant, and that's Texas Roadhouse, who's giving us their biscuits. Everybody else is Waterford. We have raffle tickets, and hopefully we can get our superheroes from the Drain Commission to help us with that. And all our money can go back into the kids. But I would love to have some people from the board be there. I have a ticket for our superintendent. He said he would be there. We have Mr. Gregory, who's going to speak on behalf of the kids. He's come to our meetings, talked about how important it is and how it makes a difference. So I would love to see some of your smiling faces there. This is the first time in a long time that we've had the taste. It's something that gives back to the community. And I just want to make that difference. And my second piece is on Cowell. We've been working with Oakland County Parks to secure the other piece of land. I know that there's 2 developers that are looking at that. If they build that, they want multi-housing, so more apartments. That doesn't mean we're going to get residents that will have kids. It's going to be more transit or high-end apartments. It's not going to be beneficial in working for the gas company. I know the infrastructure for gas, electricity, and water cannot sustain that area, nor can Hospital or Cooley Lake. So if you can help in any way, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Really quick, Robin, you said November 10th, but what's the time frame for the taste?
From 6 to 8.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have no more green cards, so we are going to move on to our board reports. Do we have any board reports this evening? Member Donahue?
Superintendent Martin and I attended the Oakland County School Board Association meeting last night to hear about the budget updates and not only for this year, but some concerning budget future forecasts after this school year. And that kind of ruined the meeting a little bit to hear that, here, this is the money we've got. Good luck in the future. We also had the chance to hear from the Oakland ISD superintendent about all the things they supposedly do for us. And so that was a fairy tale night. That was wonderful. That's it for my board report.
All right, Member Ristich?
Yes, I just had I had the opportunity to go to Haunting Harmonings over at Waterford Kettering on Tuesday. It was just a great event. Our performing arts are just top notch. And so, again, if you ever get a chance to go to a football game, a soccer game, go. But don't sleep on the performing arts. It was amazing. That was a terrific way to spend a Tuesday night during spooky season. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out here. Here's the program. Merlin Beard, Courtney Laird, Laura Silhaver, and Hannah Schmidtke, who was an amazing accompanist for the whole performance. This featured our bands, our choirs, and our orchestra. So hour, 90 minutes of just top-notch music. The whole Performing Arts Center was packed to the gills, standing room only nearly. So just an amazing night. So shout out to our performing arts programs and staff.
All right, Member Torres?
I had a chance to go to both homecomings, so I saw several of the board members there, the Mott homecoming and the Kettering. My daughter and I were able to, along with Superintendent Martin, to be float judges, which was really cool. My daughter just thought the world of it. She's a 6th grader, so she thought it was so cool. But interacting with the high school kids and the pride that they show, just really the way that they carry themselves is so impressive. You know, these kids on homecoming court, we got to meet them all. And I just love that we do that and that it's something that happens because it really teaches these kids about, you know, the pride in their town and how to carry themselves, how to just, you know, bring everybody together. So it was really a great experience. I saw Mr. Petrucia, Board Member Petrucia there as well, Ms. Wagner, Board Member Wagner. And then obviously our superintendent at the homecomings. And then parent-teacher conferences just happened. So I guess speaking more as a parent, but I was impressed with how efficient they are now. It's like you get in there, and she had all 5 of her teachers right there, and it was like boom, 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 5 minutes, and they tell you, you know, a little snippet from each, and then any questions, you know, and it just moves really efficient. I really felt like I got a lot, but a lot with the technological advances that we have now than versus when my older daughter was in 6th grade in 2009. completely different. I know what's happening with the grades. Thank you to the teachers and respect for this over here, because I know you're putting that information in all the time. I'm always getting emails from the teachers. I always feel informed, and I know what's happening. Being able to speak with all of our teachers and get all that information in such an efficient and good way, I think it really shows what you're talking about here, well, what you all do, and the work that you put in, how informed we are as parents. So thank you for that. Thanks.
All right, well, I have a board report as well to kind of follow up with the awesome concert that Member Ristich attended. Waterford Mott is also having their Spooktacular concert, and that will be on October 29th, and the concert starts at 7. But before that is the 6th annual indoor trunk or treat that our Waterford Mott Student Council and leadership put on, and it's an indoor trunk or treat. It is free to the community, so highly recommend checking that out. Bring your kids there and stay for the concert, because the concert is also fabulous. And typically there's also a costume contest during the concert that the elementary and younger kids and even middle school kids are able to participate in. So mark your calendars for October 29th. The trunk or treat indoor, actually, I know it says trunk or treat, but it's actually indoor, starts at 5:30 to 7, and then the concert is at 7 o'clock. A little shout out to Stepanski. I am our that represents us on the Head Start Council. So we just started our meetings up for this school year, and it's always fun to be in the building. Love that building, dear to my heart, but it's also fun to be able to connect with our parents and the representatives of our Head Start community and our Stepanski community, because they are integral to making sure that they stay within our district and keep our district going. So Stepanski, if you have not checked it out yet and have not seen the new building because you haven't driven down Airport Road, I highly recommend you check it out. And there is a community playground that is available, not during school hours, their kids. I also would like to, on a personal note, give a huge shout out to our Waterford Kettering and our Waterford Mott girls volleyball teams. I wasn't able to attend, but they do the Dig Pink every year in support of breast cancer. As someone who is a recent breast cancer survivor, I think it is an amazing event that our kids do every single year. And I don't think people realize how many families in our community and in our district are impacted by cancer, and specifically breast cancer. But more importantly, it's such a great example of our students and their advocacy and their willingness to give back to their community. So big shout out to the girls. I know that the other teams are doing stuff too, but I definitely wanted to make sure to give a shout out to our volleyball teams for always handling or participating and hosting the Dig Pink. And that's it. All right, we're going to move on. Any other board reports? All right, we are going to move on now to our superintendent report.
Thank you. Happy to report that on October 3rd, it's amazing what 2 weeks can do, but October 3rd, the House and Senate finally passed the school aid budget. Governor signed that into law on October 8th, which means MDE should be good to go in terms of our payments for October 20th. Just want to report out, budget included a $442 increase in the per pupil, raising the total per pupil to $10,050. That 4.6 increase extends to CTE, special education, as well as local district operations. Funding for at-risk and English language learners was also increased by 25%. There was increased allocations for safety and mental health grants and the continuation of the free school breakfast and lunch. Unfortunately, an additional $400 million in funding for higher education was pushed into the school aid fund. This brings the total amount of school aid fund dollars that are being diverted away from K-12 education to $1.34 billion. The bill also eliminates $100 million currently allocated to offset districts' retirement or MEPSR's costs. While being happy that we have an approved budget, we must continue to advocate for, number one, having an on-time budget. Being 95 days late is inexcusable. And number two, ensuring that they are continuing to fund our schools as was intended. I had this question last week at our district parent council, and I wanted to bring it up. They asked about impact of the state lotto in education. So I went backwards. So $1.34 billion was diverted this year to other things. Last year, our lotto contributed $1.2 billion into the school aid fund. So the idea that the lotto is going into education is absolutely false. It may be coming into the piggy bank, but they're pulling right out from the piggy bank the same amount. So for those watching at home and keeping track, I just want to include that. Please continue to advocate that our dollars stay with our kids. Also, to Trustee Torres's point, Mott and Kettering celebrated their homecoming football games. So they were fantastic games. Mott unfortunately lost in the last couple minutes. Kettering was able to pull it out, 22 seconds, was able to pull it out 14-0, but both teams played with incredible competitive spirit. Would love to see as many people out there for the crosstown rivalry game on October 25th at 1 o'clock at Kettering. I especially want to thank all the staff, the parents, and the students for all of their work organizing the homecoming festivities. Ms. Ogden, I know you're involved in that, so thank you so much. It was really great seeing the students celebrate together, seeing the dance teams, the pom teams, the cheer teams, the marching band. We have incredibly talented kids who are dedicated for their schools and for communities, so it was great to see. At Durant, earlier this month, we had 39 of our students spend the day on campus at Wayne State. Mentors from the university gave the Vikings a tour of the campus. They got to eat some food. I haven't been able to ask them. My guess is they liked it better than ours, but we'll see. They also got some gear, but I wanted to thank Oakland 80 and the Oakland County Michigan Works for sponsoring the event. This Tuesday, October 21st at Hess Hathaway from around 4:45 to 6:30. We're looking forward to having our elementary runners who have participated in the Run Club out there. We have almost 300 total runners and are looking forward to celebrating their participation and accomplishments. And then two last items. My son told me 2 Fridays from tomorrow is Halloween, and he says that's the best day of the week for Halloween to happen. So I'm looking forward to all the different events at our buildings and want to encourage everyone as they're out and about to please be safe in buildings and enjoy themselves. And then the district was able to email to everyone the calendar to get us through the 2025 calendar year through December. So please make sure to check your emails for those. And outside of that, I'm done.
All right. We are now going to recess to closed session. By roll call vote, the board will move to closed session in accordance with Section 8C and 8H of the Open Meetings Act. The regular meeting will be deemed adjourned at the conclusion of the closed session. Secretary Ristich, please take roll call vote.
Member McGregor.
Yes.
Member Donahue. I'm a yes. Member Wagner.
Yes.
Member Torres.
Yes.
Member Sonkrant.
Yes.
Member Patricia.
Yes.
All right, we are going to move over to closed session, and we will be back to adjourn the meeting.